Problem. Can't seem to record. There we go. What's the absolute fastest way to supercharge your public speaking skills? Well, here it is. Speak every day. Make a video of yourself, post it on social media, and get feedback. Figure out, what do people like? What do they want more of? What do they not like? If you post a video of yourself speaking every single day, I guarantee you will be a much more confident professional speaker in 30 days. Okay, folks, welcome. Thanks for joining me. Just starting off the day, the live session, with a quick answer to a question. This is a question that came in from Jacker Raffet, who just asked me, TJ, can you show me the way how I can, the quickest way I can develop my speaking ability? Because I understand, but I get frustrated when I try to speak. Well, it's normal to get frustrated if you haven't been trained and really thought about it. So you may be in one of my courses. I would urge you to continue going through that course. But if you don't want to be in a course, you don't have to. Just pick something that you're passionate about and speak on it every day. Could be cricket, could be soccer, could be violin music. It could be a certain old-time favorite band you have. Speak about it every day, record it, look at it, figure out what you like, what you don't like, post it, and get feedback from the world. Because you may be thinking that you're doing a horrible job and a lot of people like it. You may think you're great and other people are saying, we can't hear you, or you look like a robot, or something like that. Get feedback. That is the absolute fastest way to boost your communication skills. Special hello to our friends on TikTok joining us. We are live on TikTok. We do not have you integrated with our live stream. So if you want to see what we're doing on different cameras in our studio, if you want to join me on camera, I'm more than happy to have you join us. But I would need you to come over to YouTube, push the button for our StreamYard account, and that way you can appear right on screen. Ask questions, participate, challenge me, disagree with me. You can do all that and more. Hi, I'm TJ Walker. This is the TJ Walker Success Channel. We're all about helping you become more successful in life by boosting your communication skills and boosting your confidence in your communication skills. Because believe it or not, those things are not always correlated. I want you to have the technical skills, and I want you to feel good about your skills as a communicator as well. So that's what we're about. Sometimes we have guests, sometimes we have authors, other experts, communication experts, and sometimes we go right to you, your questions. You can appear on screen. I answer your questions. Some of them are posted, some of them are emailed in, as that one was, and some of them come courtesy of ChatGPT and a variety of sources. So we're trying to provide the biggest platform in the world for live, interactive exchange of information on how to improve communication skills. That's what we're all about. I want to say a special hello to so many friends who have joined us and people who we've never met before. I haven't met you, you haven't met me, but we have so many people invited by TikTok and are joining us. Patty's joined us, Andrew, Stevie, Jerry Reed, Jeff is there, Billy, Mohawk, Goose, Larry. And Patty says, are you out? Or excuse me, are you on? Are you a promotional speaker? Well, Patty, I am a speaker. I do speak about communication skills, media skills, and other personal development issues. We are on. This is live. If you have a question, Patty, beyond that, I'm more than happy to address you directly and try to help you. The biggest thing I try to do is help people improve their communication skills, regardless of whether they want to be a motivational speaker in front of 50,000 people, or they simply want to get more comfortable talking to one colleague or one client prospect sitting across a table or sitting at the coffee shop. It's really about every aspect of communication. In a sense, I believe everyone is a promotional speaker in the sense that we all want to promote some idea. If You have a 5-year-old, that child has probably promoted the idea that we should go buy ice cream now, right? Everyone is trying, and I don't mean this in some sort of cynical way, if everyone has some dark thing they're trying to manipulate. I'm just saying everybody wants to promote some idea. You may want to promote the idea of improving the environment to help with global warming. You may want to promote a particular candidacy of someone you think will make your own town or state or country better. We all want to promote. Marius has stopped by and says, hi, Marius, glad you're with us. Let us know where you are today. We're always happy to have such an international audience, typically people from 6 continents joining us on a regular basis. And I should note that I have had students in my online course from Antarctica. So we do have students from all 7 continents. I'm going to be taking your questions in a moment. Some have been written in. We do give precedence to anyone who wants to show up on camera and ask a question. Chris says, how's it going? Chris, it's great. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to be able to share with people around the globe right here and every day. So I'm having a lot of fun. And let me know if you have any questions. Chris also says, good morning. Well, good morning to you if it's morning time. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world. And I see Kenny started following. Kenny, glad you're following. Hope I earn your trust on a regular basis. If you have questions for me or any way you think I can help you, please let me know. Sori writes in and says, hello from North Carolina. Well, it's always nice to hear from people in North Carolina. I grew up in North Carolina, moved there at age 5, lived there till I was 22. So I really consider that kind of my home state. My sisters, other family members live there. I'm hoping to go back to North Carolina in the next couple of weeks for a little vacation. So I grew up in Charlotte and lived in the Durham area. Let me know where you live, Sori, in North Carolina. I appreciate you stopping by and saying hello. I should point out that I am based in South Florida now, Palm Beach County. I'm in a community called Delray Beach. Not everyone has heard of that. It is in the southern part of Palm Beach County. It is warm here most of the year. The old joke is, Florida, where it's August, 11 months of the year, right north of Boca Raton, Florida. And it's an interesting place in that I'm in kind of a small little village where I walk to the beach every day, walk to town. My office and TV studio is right on the main street here called Atlantic Avenue. I live 4.5 blocks away. It's a nice 5-minute walk to. So I live in a nice little town, essentially. But it's a part of the 6th largest metropolitan area in the United States of South Florida, because it's one big sort of sprawling metropolitan media market of Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach. And there are about 50 different little towns in each one of those counties. So it's not like New York City, where New York City completely dominates and everything is sort of circling around New York City. What's interesting about South Florida is you've got basically 150 towns, some of them a little bigger than others, but none of them in any way dominant. None of the towns have even 10% of the overall population area, because it's about 6 million people in the entire area. So that is what 6 million or 3 million. We're the 6th largest metropolitan area, but many millions of people are here. So it's a fun place to be. If you're ever here, drop me a line on LinkedIn. I'll buy you the first cup of coffee. So thanks so much. We have a lot of other people who've joined us on TikTok. Thanks so much for stopping by. And we have friends joining us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, Twitter, X, and Instagram. Later on today, we'll be going on Amazon Live. I'll be continuing my series of how you can start your own journey of being an influencer. I'm specifically looking at this through the lens of the Amazon program. They have an Amazon influencer program. But I think it's also relevant if you're trying to be an influencer on Walmart, Target, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. So many platforms and stores and brands have their own influencer program. It's not get rich quick. I'm not making vast riches. That's for certain. But it does open doors. It does create some revenue. It does get you speaking in front of different people and different audiences. It does get you some feedback, and it does get you connected with brands. I personally find that interesting. If that interests you, you're going to want to stay tuned to later on in this hour when I do a demonstration. I'll be talking about and doing essentially mini ads for books that I happen to like. And we'll be doing that on Amazon Live. We are taking your questions now. You can post them. We always give priority to anyone willing to actually show up and ask a question. So let's just say hello to our good friend and a top communicator in his own right, Roger. Roger, how are you today?
Doing great. How about you?
Fantastic. It looks like you have some a slightly different lighting screen on your backdrop. It's looking good. Tell us what's new and what you're working on.
So, the question I have for you, in my model for marketing, starts out with trying to create curiosity in the minds and of those who might view my marketing materials, be it on Facebook, be it on YouTube, wherever it might exist,
Mm-hmm.
and or speaking. We all start a speech and we want to try to create curiosity so that people are engaged with our talk. They want to know more. They want to be enlightened by what we might say. And so you've done a beautiful job. I've been watching you very carefully the last few months of creating your videos, and they really do make you curious about what you might say
Thank
and
you.
how you might solve a particular problem for
Mm-hmm.
people. And I just wondered if you had any secret ideas that you might have on the art of creating curiosity in people, because we all have to stop the scroll in Facebook, or we have to stop the scroll in YouTube, or whatever it might be, or we certainly want to grab their attention in a introduction to our speech or a title of our speech that really makes them interested, right?
Mm-hmm. Part of it is just, can you do something with a little surprise? People love surprises. As human beings, we are just programmed to. I'm getting a slight echo, Roger. I do want to hear your response, but I'm going to turn your mic off. And then when you want to speak, I'll let you come back on. But I'm hearing a bit of an echo. So part of it is just saying something that you think is going to arouse curiosity. And quite often that means the opposite of just being totally rational, logical, linear, and saying, here's your question. You go to point A to B to C to D, it leads you to E. We often think that, just give people the most systematic way of knowing something. That's the best way. It often isn't. You need to arouse curiosity to make someone want to know. If you simply say, here's the answer, here it is, it often does not work as well. So sometimes going about it the back end way. Now, you see marketers do this in various ways, and some of them I would say totally above board, some of them a little bit sleazy. I mean, the classic marketer way of arousing curiosity in the diet space is learn how to lose 50 pounds without diet or exercise. Oh, wow, I'd like to do that. How can I lose all this weight without dieting or exercise? It arouses people's attention. Now, typically, it's complete nonsense. And I'm not talking about the new weight loss drugs that are a little bit different and all the health issues regarding that. But that's one way. Do something that's surprising, because look at that headline. Again, I'm not holding that up as something you should do. It's surprising because people have heard their whole life, you want to lose weight, exercise more, or eat less, or do both of those. So if someone says, lose 50 pounds by without exercise or dieting, it does arouse curiosity. Now, I would say that's kind of, in the sleazy, cheesy realm of things and not the most ethical. But Roger, you have your own business. Let me give you a moment to pitch your business, arouse our curiosity, and I'm happy if you put in the private chat a link to your own website, and maybe we can get you some business today. I'm all in favor of trying to help every member of this community develop as much as they can, benefit, get new clients, and grow. So I'm going to close my mouth a minute and let you share.
Actually, I'm just right in the process of doing some reinvention. And I've been doing a website development for over 30 years. And I've just decided now that I really want to find a way to expand my business to more coaching, consulting, that type of thing. And so I'm looking for ways in which I can solve people's problems. I think that's one place to start, with really finding ways that people are looking to change in their lives, be it either through their marketing or through their own personal lives. And you've addressed beautifully many of those areas with your habits and all sorts of things that you've discussed. And it's really a way in which people are searching for problems and searching for solutions to problems, and they really don't know where to start. Mm-hmm. They don't know where to begin. They don't know how to really grow quickly. And that's why they need a coach like yourself, coach like me, coach like other people who are in that business. And there's no more beautiful way to quickly grow yourself than get a coach who's really seriously, authentically interested in helping you solve your problems.
Mm-hmm. Give me an example of specifically the sort of person you would coach and how you'd help them.
Well, the biggest thing is that in my experience in dealing with people over 30 years of making websites for them, they all want to talk about themselves, what they do, as opposed to the problems that they can solve. And I always tell people, forget about what you do for a moment and talk about one single problem that you can solve for someone and what your strategy might be. And if you have a testimonial on someone else who you've solved that problem for, you can let them do the selling for you because they've had a 5-star experience.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, if I know you know this, but if you're ever writing a review for someone or a testimonial, you really want to help them out, don't just say, oh, great, TJ's great, Roger's great, wonderful. Talk about exactly how you were transformed in a way that someone reading it, not knowing you or the person, thinks, oh, that's like me, I could benefit that's always going to be a much more powerful way. Quick hello to Janatel, says, hi, TJ, I completed one of your courses named Personal Communication, Introduce Yourself with Confidence from Udemy. Thanks for the hard work you put into the course. And it's Afnan from Bangladesh. Happy to hear from people from Bangladesh. Roger, I want to pick your brain a minute. I mean, I want to help you in any way I can, but you're a real expert on marketing and branding. And I want to bring in a guy who's working with me. This is Muhammad, helping me with the branding for this show. Because right now, the show is a little bit, I'm going to turn your mic off because I'm getting feedback, Roger. Our show is a little bit vanilla. It doesn't look that different from someone just doing a live Zoom call. So we're trying to build some elements, some video elements, audio elements to kind of identify it as a show and an experience rather than just a guy who pushed record. Muhammad has been working on that with us. Muhammad, how are you today? If you can unmute your microphone, and I know you have some things to share with us.
Hi, TJ. How are you?
Fantastic. Muhammad, by the way, I'm going to give credit to Muhammad. The reason you're able to see this and this and this was Muhammad spending 12 hours a day with me for the entire month of January and part of February, telling me while I'm on the floor trying to hook up all these cords and microphones. Muhammad was the one who's the brains behind all of this, because I certainly would not have ever, probably in a million years, figured out how to do it. So thanks, Muhammad, for doing that. Now,
Welcome,
Muhammad,
TJ.
we've been working on some visual elements to be kind of a show identifier to get this show going. And forgive me, our TikTok friends, you didn't get to see that. If you want to see what I'm talking about, come on over to our YouTube channel. It's TJ Walker's Success. So, Muhammad, can you show us the elements that you've created? Because we've been trying to do this for a while, and I've perhaps given unclear instructions. Maybe we can play the video, show the elements, and get feedback from Roger, John O'Toole, Marius, and others with us today.
Sure, give me 2 minutes.
Okay. And we'll be able to just share the screen, and you can show us the images as well as the videos too.
Sure.
Great. And while we're doing that, so Roger, who is your ideal prospect? Because I'll share with you my own experience with coaching, because I traditionally have never called myself a coach. I've said I'm a media trainer, number one, a presentation skills trainer, number two. And in my capacity as a member of the National Speakers Association and president of the National Speakers Association New York, I would meet countless people who say, "Oh, I've left the corporate world and now I'm a personal coach. I'm a life coach, especially." And as far as I can tell, I don't know if I ever met anyone who made more than $5,000 a year calling themselves a life coach. Doesn't mean they don't exist. Anthony Robbins makes him $100 million a year. So I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but it's an extraordinarily difficult first step to get into it. At least it has been traditionally. And I find with a lot of coaching things, it's like that. So tell me, who is your ideal prospect and how do they react to you?
So I believe it's a small business who may be just starting up, and there are tons of them. There's new businesses starting every day, starting up and just don't know where to start. They might not have any materials, they might not have a website, they might not have a marketing plan, or even a real clear path of where they're really wanting to take their business, or even a clear concept of what they want to do with their business. So there's a lot of people that are lost.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you maybe a tough question. It's not meant to be disrespectful. I love new businesses. I love entrepreneurs. I love talking to them. I love connecting with them. I love networking them. I love having coffee with them. I absolutely can't stand new businesses as a business prospect because it's very hard to get money out of them traditionally. My bread and butter has always been, I got to turn the microphone off on you, sorry. My bread and butter has always been a prospect reaches out to me. They're a big corporation, a big government, a big UN agency. Now I got a good chance of not just talking to them, connecting with them, getting a contract, delivering the work, getting paid, and not in that order, getting paid first. Now, there are certainly other people, better business people than I am, who are successful going after the small big business market. But I'm just wondering, has that been a challenge for you? People saying, "Roger, you sound great, sound smart, sound like I could help. You could help me. I don't have any money."
Well, that's certainly a good question. The way I look at it is a little bit differently. A business that is well established with lots and lots of money coming in, $10, $20 million company might already have, and if they've already generated that kind of revenue, they probably already have many of those things already in place. So I'm looking to provide something that's missing in their business. So I kind of look at it a little bit like that. And of course, it's always subject to testing, right? Any business, you got to start out somewhere and test it to see what's going to work.
Well, that's exactly what I want to do right now, because I've had concepts. I don't know if they're any good. Mohammed's had concepts. We want to test right now and have a bit of a focus group with you and Barb and Janitel, Marius, and others, because we're working on some elements for the show. Mohammed, let me turn it over to you. You can share your screen, I'm assuming.
Sure. Can you see my screen?
Yes. So again, little backdrop. If you watch any TV show, typically these days, it just starts right in with a dialogue or conflict or something, or you're watching Succession for that matter, any show. They hop right in with something of substance, and whether it's 30 seconds long or 5 minutes, then it does sort of the opening show credits. The music, something establishes it, something that makes you know what you're watching. That's what we're trying to come up with here. So when I start a live show, I'll start off saying something interesting, I hope, but then I will push a button and we will play a video for 15 seconds or so. We're trying to come up with something, looks professional, gives people a sense of what we're all about. So that's the context. Mohammed, share what we have so far. And let me put it so it's just the screen. Okay. And I do want feedback from Roger and anyone watching this, because we don't have it all figured out. We really don't. And we're still very much in the development. Any feedback you have would be much appreciated. Okay, so Mohammed, can you set this up? What are we looking at here? And Mohammed, your microphone is off. I need you to unmute.
Sorry. So actually, this is the footage that we currently have, and we want to put something that setups a scenario like you are talking to one person or a group of persons, etc.
And for one final piece of context, what I'm trying to do is let people know what the show's about, that we're about communication skills, whether you're talking to one person, two people, a small group, sitting, standing, medium-sized group, large group, a huge stadium full of people, or the whole world on TV. We're trying to convey that this is a show that helps you with every aspect of communication, from one to millions, and to do it in a visually interesting way in less than 20 seconds. That's what it's about. Okay.
So, but the current problem that I'm having is that I told you first that it won't look like a real scenario or a real program. Everyone can just look at the footage and can tell this is edited one. So I think that's not the problem.
Well, can you show us what you've put together? Because we've been doing the show now for 3 months. We got to get something up. We can always make it better. But right now, I mean, my concern, Roger, you're marketing, branding, web expert, is that it looks too much just like a thrown together. Oh, let's have a live Zoom meeting, and I want this to have the look and feel of more of a professional show. So play us what you've got, Mohammed, and let's just get a starting point. And do we have any audio so people can know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't have actually found the correct music for this.
All right, let me do something right. Let me just do something right now. I want to give, because I do want to get opinions from other people. Here's what we did. I'm going to mute you for a second, Mohammed.
Sure.
So here's what I'm trying to do, and our TikTok friends can't see it. I'm going to shift that. What I want to do is start a show, and I do a short form video where I'm answering a question. I'm doing something right away that's new, fresh, different. Soon as I finish that, I'm going to push a button, and I want someone to hear some music, have some graphics, and then hear a voiceover, something to the effect of the TJ Walker Success Channel, where you can learn how to communicate more effectively and confidently to one person, small group, large groups, any size, even the media. So it would be an audio like that, a voiceover, and you would see me looking like I'm talking to one person for a couple of seconds, perhaps sitting down, looking, and a couple seconds later, a dissolve or something where it looks like I'm in a meeting talking to 5 people. I continue to turn and you see me, and it looks like I'm giving a presentation to, say, 30 people or a board meeting. Continuing to turn, and wow, it's a couple hundred people. Continuing to turn, and now I'm at a huge convention center platform, and there's 5,000 people there, and my hand motions are bigger and expressive. Continuing to turn, and now it appears I'm in a major TV news network, CNN or BBC or Al Jazeera, something like that, and you can tell I'm in sort of this intimidating environment and giant lights and studio and news anchors surrounding me, so that it's showing this entire spectrum of communication. And so I shot that on a green screen so we could then make it look like I was anywhere. We're obviously not expecting to fool people into thinking that I'm doing all those things at once in the same place. I don't mind if it looks to some people like it's a green screen. We're just trying to let them think, oh, it's not just about how to speak to the media. That's too niche. It's not just for people who want to be motivational speakers and talk to 10,000 people, because this guy started off saying it's about how to communicate to one person. Oh, I do that. Oh, it's about how to communicate in a meeting to 2 or 3 people. Oh, I do that. We want it so that people can relate to it and think, oh, this show might be for me. Maybe I should watch. Maybe I should participate. Maybe I should subscribe. And to also make them see that it's aspirational, that there's something for everyone. And no matter where you are, there's always something a little higher. Maybe you're totally comfortable talking to 200 people, but talking to 5,000 people, that may be where you're all of a sudden less than completely comfortable. So that is the concept. And to have some kind of music that is identifiable, that is sort of fun, upbeat, uplifting. I gave as a template the theme song to Young Sheldon, just because it's a show that I've been watching with my family a lot, and it's sort of catchy and upbeat and about 16 seconds long. Obviously not going to steal that theme song, but we had that just as a template of what we're about. So that is the concept. So Mohammed, let me put you back on. Tell us what the biggest challenge is. What are we coming up against?
Sure. Can you see this?
Oh, let me bring you on. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So the real problem is that um, when you are shifting between 2 frames, like from this large group to this small group, etc., or like other, etc. I know this is not; these are not the best shots, but I wanted to show you this. Uh, I don't know how to just transition between these two, and this doesn't look at it when we are transitioning between 2
What if it's a slow dissolve? And I say that like I know technical editing terms. I really don't. But again, I'm not worried about it looking realistic. I just want people to sort of get the idea of what we're talking about. I mean, that's really it. Roger, can you help us out? Because this is it is a design issue and a branding issue.
Well, the thought I had when you talked about this is the need for simplicity and clarity. And the thing that I think grabs people's utmost attention is that you're solving a particular problem for them. And it's like having this wonderful opportunity to speak to a coach who's got this massive amounts of experience, who could give you personal advice that you couldn't get any other place unless you were paying him thousands and thousands of dollars. So the one thing that came to my mind is, if you were to publish the specific things that you were going to cover in a short period of time, be it an hour or whatever, that would immediately get my attention and say, oh, I really want to know this, this, and this, or have the opportunity to ask you a personal question, which you're offering now in your program.
That's a great idea for having a more produced show. And I agree with you completely. We need that. I'm talking about something completely different. Something where, if those of us in the US and a lot of parts of the world, you hear that Friends opening credits and theme song and you see them in the fountain, you're watching Friends. Those of us of a certain age who used to follow politics in America, you hear that certain sound effect from the McLaughlin Group, and you're watching the McLaughlin Group. I need something that I can play every single episode for the next 50 years is really what I'm looking forward to. That helps identify, this is this particular show, and I know what they're all about. That's really what I'm after, not extra production elements that would be done separately for each show. It's a great point. We do need that as well. But with limited resources, to me, the most obvious thing to make the show look a little more professional is having some kind of 15-second, whether you call it a stinger, an opening montage, something that lets people know what we're about, a little music, a little graphic, a little razzmatazz, and make them feel, this is what this is about. This seems special. This seems cool. I know where I am. That's what we're after. And maybe Mike has a concept here. Mike, thanks for stopping by. Did you want to add anything to this conversation? Or were you just popping by and wanted to pop in StreamYard? Either way is okay. Okay. If you do, let us know, and you can either turn your mic on or your camera on, or either way. Now, Mohammed, you had worked on some images. You had sent me earlier today some images or yesterday to look at. Do you want to put that up and we can give you some reaction to that? And I need to unmute your microphone. Okay. You need to unmute your microphone, Mohammed. I can't hear you. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, can you see my screen?
I need to add it. There we go. Yes.
Okay. So this is the video here. Like, you are talking to a large group of persons. Does it seem okay to you?
It's hard for me to tell. Well, I'll go back a minute. What I don't imagine is I shouldn't be looking off to a side with an audience in front of me. This is okay for a large audience. But again, I want to see the evolution. Me talking to one person, me talking to 2, 3, a small group, a larger group, a slightly larger group. This is okay for like the mid-sized group. But what do you have for the beginning slide of where I'm talking to one person?
That I haven't figured yet. Like, I will put some background in behind and put one person that's a difficult uh, thing to find on internet, where you find a video of someone to standing and listening to some person.
Yeah.
Is it okay if I put some artificially produced picture there?
So at this point, Mohammed, I want anything. I need some video that I can start showing. We're overthinking this, and I'm feeling frustrated. I'm supposed to be a great communicator, and I don't feel like I'm communicating because we've been talking about this for months now, and it's 15 seconds. It doesn't have to be realistic. It just needs. I just want people to see. Here's a guy. The voiceover is saying, this is a place to learn communication skills. And I don't want them thinking it's just for keynote speakers because that eliminates 99% of the world. I don't want them thinking it's just how to speak to the media because that eliminates 99% of the world. I want them to understand it's if you're talking to one person for a job interview or two people or 5 people at your Monday morning staff meeting. I want them to quickly see some scenario that they can relate to and say, I have to talk to a size group like that.
Sure.
And maybe I should listen to that. It's really that simple. It doesn't have to look like it's live. It doesn't have to look like I was really there. We just need to give people a sense that of the range of communication we're talking to.
Okay, but you haven't sent me that voiceover for this. Have you got it for this voiceover or something?
It's been so long now, I can't even remember. So I can do a voiceover. That's going to be pretty easy. I mean, I thought I'd given you the script. I can try to redo it and create it.
Sure.
So
Well,
let me work on that and send it to you. Roger, do you have any other concepts for the images we show? Or I know your hook is about, here's a problem. I'm sort of going into this. I don't want to just state directly, do you have a problem? I might for a video, but for a stinger, for an identifier for a show, I don't think I can lead with the hook of a problem. I need it to be something that just sort of gives people a sense of what we're about.
TJ,
Yes.
sorry, I have to go for 10 minutes. It's an emergency.
Okay. I'm going to give you an audio. I'll record the audio, and we have to have something. At this point, I don't even care if it's awful. I just want us to get something up and start getting feedback.
Sure.
Even if the whole thing has to be AI generated, and it's taken my face. Maybe it's better off doing that. Okay. All right,
TJ,
Mohammed.
the other opportunity you could have is just not even have you in it, just some kind of animated thing that flips around. Maybe it has the words going across in some animated form, and because we're only talking 15 seconds. By the time we get you in there, they're saying, "Okay, who is this guy, TJ?" They're starting to ask questions, but if you have your message in 15 seconds that's strictly animated and what you might be covering during the time period, it's like a preview of what they could expect. So that's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, curiosity. And so you say one thing and boom, in 15 seconds, they better be getting it or you're probably missing the boat, right?
Yeah. Great food for thought, Roger. I appreciate you. And again, I'm showing people this because I do want to be transparent, because part of the premise of this show, this channel, this community is I sort of take you behind the scenes. I take you behind the curtains, tell you what's really going on, actually show you the workflow of what a content creator goes through and thinks of and does and problems we have. In just a moment, we're going to transition and we're going to go to Amazon Live. And I'm going to not talk about how to be an Amazon influencer, how to go on Amazon Live, but I'll actually do it. It won't be with every single best practice, but it's learning as we're going, learning as we experience. Roger, we have to switch to that. And is there anything else we can do for you to help you today?
Hey, I appreciate everything you've done, and best of luck, and I'll keep watching you.
Great. And if you want to stay on for the Amazon Live and ask me questions about, I'm on the wrong camera angle. And if you want to stay on, more than happy to have you.
Okay.
All right. I'll take you off screen, but when I'm done sort of going over the basics, I'll leave your mic on, and the mic on. We seem to have lost the echo now, so maybe I can leave it on.
I put in my earphones, so that's what was causing it.
That does it. Great. So I'm going to leave you on. If you want to add anything, let me know.
Okay.
My colleague, Ben, has joined us. Ben, we're running a few minutes behind, but we're ready to start with our Amazon Live. Let me get our products available. And I've selected books. I am going to be talking about books that I like, that I've read, that I've paid for with my own money, and that I often already recommend to other people. So that's in part what makes Amazon Influencer easy compared to just being a host on the Home Shopping Network. If you're a host on the Home Shopping Network and the boss says, here's the product, you're going to sell it today, or else you got to sell it. It's easier in a sense to be an influencer because you can pick products that only the ones you like and use. So you can be more authentic, which means you don't have to script it all out and follow someone else's bullet points. So Ben will give me the countdown. I'm going to get my mouse here because I will have to disconnect this when we're done. Okay, so we're going to switch in. I'm going to put just myself on screen now. But Roger, stay there. I'm happy to have you participate and ask any questions about any of the books as we go. Ben will give me the countdown to when we are joining Amazon Live, and this will be available on my Amazon storefront. If you want to see that, there is a link in my bio. You can also just go to amazon.com/shop/TJ Walker Success. And you can watch this on Amazon Live, and you can actually buy any of these products if you want to. I'm not doing this primarily to sell you a lot of product. I'm doing it to demonstrate another way of communicating, of presenting, of adding value, and building either a side hustle or part of a business. With that, let me just make sure there's no other urgent questions. We did get some good suggestions from TikTok. I missed it. TC says, Muppetize yourself as the slide. There are a lot of easy solutions. And I think that's similar to what Roger was mentioning, which is that an animation, something that looks like a Muppet might make it fun. TC says, I'm missing the birth of my daughter to watch your live. I love your lives. I feel good and bad about that. I feel bad that you're missing the birth of your daughter. Please go back to your daughter and the mother of your daughter and participate that. But I'm very glad that you're here. Mike says, what do I do if I'm awkward? Our Miles says that. I will address that, but we're going to have to come back to that after I finish our Amazon Live. And I apologize for missing that. And I do appreciate so many folks joining us on TikTok today. So Ben, let's hop right in with I know what I have to do. I've got to I'll do that in just a minute. I'll be turning off the TikTok Live because I have to use that phone to make the videos for the Amazon on demand videos. But for right now, let's hop in to our Amazon Live. Ben, give me the countdown.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome. I'm TJ Walker. This is the TJ Walker Success Channel on Amazon Live. Always good to be with you. I love being able to share with you products that I like, I enjoy, have helped me in some way, either personally or professionally. Products that I love telling friends, family, colleagues about, and now I get to share it with you. This one is The Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss. Now, chances are you've heard of Tim Ferriss. He is the author of The 4-Hour Workweek, which is one of the most fabulous selling books of all time in the personal development realm, and arguably the best title of any book ever. The Tools of Titans summarizes all the lessons he's learned from high performance experts from his podcast. He started his podcast some 10 years ago or so and has billions of downloads. One of the most successful podcasters everywhere. What I like about the book is it saves me so much time. I can read and pick the people I'm most interested in, go to the sections I want. And it's so much faster than listening to 1,000 hours of podcast. Now, if you love podcasts, Tim Ferriss has a great podcast, but this condenses the most important lessons. What is interesting about so many wildly successful people, from Arnold Schwarzenegger to esteemed academics you might not have ever heard of, is one hand, they can all be a little bit different and different paths to success. On the other hand, so many of them really take seriously their mornings and set routines, and not just doing what so many of us do, which is start the day, oh, let me look at email, let me react, and let me write something I'm unhappy about. The most successful people really protect their mornings. They protect their sleep. Exercise is hugely important. So many of them meditate at some level or not. You've heard that before, but somehow it's more motivating when you see someone who you think of as, you know, the most famous together movie star or billionaire tech mogul, talking about their own struggles with putting on weight or drinking too much coffee and how they solved it. So I would highly recommend Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss. It is available right now with one click in the carousel below if you're joining us now on Amazon Live. We're also taking your comments. You can add your questions. If you have comments or questions about the book or any of the products I'm talking about, you can ask us right now. We are, in fact, live and here for you. On writes in, hi, TJ, back again after a break. Looking forward to participating in the community. Very happy you're back, whether you're gone for an hour, a day, a month, or a year. Always glad you're back. Let's go to the next book I'd like to recommend. Now, those of you who know me know that I was actually a philosophy major in college. I've always been drawn to philosophy. I like reading philosophy. The Stoics are one of my favorite categories of philosophy. And of the Stoics, Epictetus is probably my favorite. He was a slave and rose up to have tremendous influence through the sheer power of his ideas, not from his wealth or position. This is This is a Penguin's classic, discourses and selected writings. So if you want to really sort of dive into the best insights of the Stoics, this is a good place to start. Ryan Holiday has made a whole business out of really bringing to life Stoicism to modern audiences. I'd certainly recommend his books too. We'll do that at another time. But if you want to go more to the direct source, or at least as translated by academics, you may want to give these Penguin classics a chance. This one, Epictetus, Discourses and Selected Writings. It's available now in the carousel below. Okay, this next person doesn't need any introduction to those of you who are fans of TED Talks or even pop culture. Brené Brown is a superstar. This is Daring Greatly, a #1 New York Times bestseller. She's really well known for expressing vulnerability, encouraging people to do that. She's taken over pop culture. You see references to her on everything from Sex and the City movies to sitcoms. She's one of those rare academics who has the ability to connect with people outside the academic world and really affect not just the personal development world, the business management world, but the larger pop culture. How the courage to be vulnerable transforms the way we live, love, parent, and lead. So if you haven't seen one of her videos, just search for her on any major online video platform. You'll find that. But if you really want to dive right into her big insights, check this out. Again, it's Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. It's been a huge, huge bestseller. You can check it out. And you can buy it right now with one click in the carousel. The carousel will also take you to the full product page. You can read more reviews and decide for yourself. The next author also I know you've heard of and doesn't need a big introduction. This is a book by Anthony Robbins, Life Force. Now, interestingly, he partnered with Peter Diamandis, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. For those of you who are interested in the future and technology, he's written so many great books. And also Robert Harari. The book is about new breakthroughs in precision medicine that can transform the quality of your life and those you love. I judge a book, as you've heard me say before, by how many pages did I fold down the page and underline, and there's an awful lot of pages folded down here with recommendations. Some of the health recommendations are more on the experimental side. I'm not a doctor and I'm not a physician, so I'm not here giving you medical advice. What I can tell you is this book is it's a thick book. I mean, this is a big book. We're talking about the index is into the 600s, almost 700 pages. It is expansive and really covers the full range of modern technologies as it relates to personal health care. So I'm not telling you follow every single thing and follow every recommendation or buy every product in here, but I am saying it will give you a huge sense of things that some of them are right here available now. Some of them are coming soon, and it can be quite inspirational to think about all the advances happening in our lifetime in healthcare, whether it's available right now or coming soon. So I do recommend Life Force. Anthony Robbins is the lead name, but there's some other real technology experts and medical people with medical degrees involved as co-authors. This next book is by Dan Ariely, Predictably Irrational. And you can see interesting type font that makes you have to look and question. He's the author of The Upside of Irrationality, the subtitle, The Hidden Forces That Shape Our Decisions. Roger may be one of our colleagues with us now, may be familiar with this. For people who take marketing seriously and communication seriously and try to really figure out how does this work with the human brain and all of our imperfections, all of our irrationalities, this guy is a true master. And I try to read all of his works. This is one of his New York Times bestsellers and really an outstanding book, revised and expanded. You can check it out. It's for sale now. You can check the carousel below and take a look at that. All right. That's concluding not our show for you, but it does conclude the products I'm giving. What I'm going to do now, with the help of my colleague Roger, who's been nice enough to join us, who is a marketing and web communications expert, is I am going to make short form videos reviewing these products that will then be uploaded to the Amazon page, to my storefront on Amazon. So I'm going to do that now, and we're going to just go right back through. And forgive me, I'm going to say goodbye to my friends on TikTok because I have to use my phone to do that. So apologies for the abrupt ending there. So I'm going to make short form videos using my phone. And it just occurred to me, I left my receiver and microphone around the corner in the back of the studio. So I don't like to do, I'm going to bring up Roger for a moment. And Roger, I'm wondering if you have any questions you want to ask about any of these books. And also, if you had to market these books in 15 seconds, how would you do it? Because that's what I'm going to attempt to do in just one moment. I'll be back with my microphone in just a moment.
TJ, the most amazing thing that you did was give us a terrific overview of the book, the content of the book. The one thing that I would have loved and would have probably made me push the button more fluently would be to hear one takeaway that you might have gotten out of the book yourself. The Tony Robbins book and the Tim Ferriss book both are so thick that I might not get through that book in 3 years. It seems like there's just so much information in there. But if you had one takeaway that you might bring to highlight for a listening audience, that would say, oh yeah, I want to get more of those. So that's one of the ideas that came to my mind. And you did it beautifully, I think, with the Brene Brown book. You mentioned what she had on her cover, and that immediately was an idea and a takeaway, really. It gave us a little more idea of what the book was all about. The Tim Ferriss book and the Tony Robbins book, boy, I probably wouldn't read that for, it'd sit on my shelf for 3 years because I probably wouldn't get into it enough because there's so much. But you started to tease us a little bit and raised my curiosity when you talked about Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Tim Ferriss book. So he's got all these great one-liners, everything from "I'll be back" to great motivational lines that are really terrific. And just one short little idea from that chapter might have been enough to say, okay, well, I'm going to have this in my library.
And I can't remember if he said that in the book, but in his recent documentary, he talked about where he didn't like that line. He thought it should be, I don't know if he thought he should say, "I will be back." And James Cameron said, you know what, you be the actor, I'll be the screenwriter. And they kept it. It was a huge success. So
I've heard
he
that,
is candid enough to admit he doesn't know what will work and what sticks with people.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And that, and I got to do an even better job of preparing exactly that. We'll talk about that in a moment after we conclude our official Amazon Live. But while we're here, as sort of a recap for our friends on Amazon Live, I am going to go ahead and make the videos of the books. And these typically are the vertical videos. So I'm now recording these videos with my cell phone, not through the regular studio camera. I've already put on a microphone that connects to my phone and a receiver on the phone. I'm now going to turn the remote on because I want to do this in one take. And I don't want people seeing me reaching to touch the phone on and reaching to turn it off. So that's why I'm doing that. Is this necessarily the best way of doing it? I'm not saying that. What I am saying, it's the fastest way of doing it. I'm still in a testing phase with Amazon influencers. So my method, and I'm not saying it's the best method, it's just the method I decided to do, is I am putting a lot of stuff out there to kind of see what sticks, to see what works. So my initial testing phase was to do videos, vertical and horizontal, 15 second, 30, a minute, and then however long I wanted. I just found people seem to watch the short form videos a lot more. So that's why I've made the transition to that. So let's quickly do these short form videos, and then I'm going to walk people through what I do to take it to the next level. And again, those of you watching live on Amazon, thank you. If you have any questions about the books, let me know. Madhav stops by and says hello and says, nice suit. It is funny. I've worn this suit many times on this live show. And today, for whatever reason, I got 4 compliments. I'm not quite sure why, but you never really know. So let's hop right in. Predictably Irrational by Don. Okay, so everybody makes mistakes. I'm obviously no different. I try to do most of these ads and product reviews in one take, but every so often I'll make a mistake. I just hit delete. And I want everyone to see that, because there's no reason why you couldn't be doing this as well, typically. Predictably Irrational by Dan Ariely. We all like to think we're completely rational and we do things in a logical way. He shows that we don't. If you want to understand humans better, you need to read this book. So I realized that didn't cover a lot, but I've just found that people, if they want a lot, they'll come to the Amazon Live and experience us for however long we're here. If they just want a quick taste of something, they're on a product page, they like something short. Life Force by Tony Robbins. It's not just Tony, it's with a couple of highly rated doctors. If you want to know the trends, the latest technologies that could help you live the life you want, check out this book. Okay, next one. Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. Brene Brown is a cultural force of great significance. This book, Daring Greatly, she really goes into detail about the power of vulnerability. Check it out. You won't regret it. Of all the great Stoic philosophers, this one is my favorite. Epictetus, as relevant today in the 21st century as he was thousands of years ago. Check out his thoughts. The Tools for Titans. This summarizes thousands of hours of great interviews from Tim Ferriss, talking to many of the most successful people in the entire world. It's all accessible right here. Start learning now. Great. I want to thank all of our friends on Amazon Live for being a part of this. Thanks so much for joining us. And please come regularly and check us out. If there are any products you're interested in, they are available in the carousel. Thanks a lot. We're going to sign off from Amazon right now. Okay, so we've signed off from Amazon. Raja, I had to be a little bit careful and clipped because Amazon really does not want us talking about their program. So I kept on wanting to say something or kind of tell you why I'm doing it. And then I'm like, oh, I can't do that because Amazon might see it and then kick me out of the program. So that's why I was doing that. Joe, I know that you've watched this before. Some of that seems a bit abrupt. Here's what I've noticed when I look at the sales data from Amazon is that like 98% of my views are coming from my videos that are 15 seconds or less. And so I was doing longer form videos. I was doing basically three videos for each product. I would take a picture, do a short video, 15 seconds or less, vertical, and then a longer one that was less than 30 seconds, horizontal, and then one as long as I could be 2-3 minutes horizontal. And I would think, I'm turning off my microphone now, so I've got battery for tomorrow. I would think that the longer ones, more in depth, would be the ones pushing people over. But almost all of the views came from the 15-second videos because they put those not only on the product pages, but they have their own equivalent of a TikTok called Amazon Inspire, where it's nothing but short form videos about products that people scroll. So that's why I concluded if 98% of my views are from the short form 15-second horizontal, let me just focus on those. Now, what I don't know is what percentage of my sales are coming from the, because it's entirely possible that 98% of my views are coming from the short form videos, but 98% of my sales are coming from the long form videos. I don't have that data and I don't know. So there's a little bit of just going blind there. So here's where I'll ask for your help, Roger, since you're a marketing and branding expert. I'm going to, as I typically do, walk people through this whole process. Concept, production, scripting in my head, shooting it, editing it, which consisted of start and stop. Now I'm going to go to Safari. I'm going to go to my Amazon storefront. That's just for me. I've already logged in. I'm going to hit the button that says create content. I hit post. I hit photo library. And now I have the video I made about the tool for Titans. I hit done. It's now uploading into the Amazon website, the Amazon servers. It's processing the video. In just a moment, it's going to let me tag it and come up with a title. I typically don't spend much time coming up with the titles because I'm operating under the assumption that someone is already on the product page. They're already interested in buying it. They see a place where there are videos. So I'm operating under the assumption that it's not like a YouTube page where you've got all these choices. If you want to watch a video about a product and it's right there, my assumption is the title isn't going to matter that much. So I'm not spending a lot of time on it. So I hit search the internet for the product. Tools for Titans. It's not the name. Of Titans by Tim Ferriss. I typically dictate because I can dictate much faster than I can type with fewer errors. I see the book. I tap add product. I hit done. So it has now married my video review / ad to this product. So it can track it. If anyone buys after watching my video, I get the credit. So now I get to title. The only restriction with a title is it has to be 60 characters or less. You can't use contractions. So I typically just dictate the first thing that comes to my mind. But in this case, let me give it to you. How would you title this book for a video review that's going to be seen by people on the product page on Amazon? How would you title this Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss book? Again, I get 60 characters. So really just, 8, 9, 10 words at best.
So success secrets from the Tools of Titans. Or, what we would all do probably is go to ChatGPT and ask it to come up with a clickbait type of title that would capture people's immediate attention.
And forgive me, I'm having technical problems I meant to ask Muhammad, who is my expert on all matters technology. I'm going to turn off my camera for 1 second and then turn it on. For some reason, my autofocus has been messing up lately and I just went blurry. So I do reference the fact that that would be a good best practice to go to ChatGPT. What I'm doing at this phase of, I don't really know what videos get me much traction, money. There are people who may spend 2 days writing a script for an ad for Amazon Influencer, adding in music, doing exactly what you're saying with ChatGPT. But the threshold of how many sales you'd have to make to justify that much time, to me, is astronomical. So what I'm trying to do is really spend no more than a couple of minutes on the whole process for any one ad. So if it makes nothing, I've only lost 2 minutes. And if nothing else, I've been able to use that time to demonstrate for content here to help other people. So that would be the best way to do it. Especially when I'm doing the whole thing live to share with people, I don't take the time to go to ChatGPT to do that. But I like your initial I'm paraphrasing, I guess, what you said. Secrets for success from the ultimate titans was kind of close to what you said. I hit post and it's done. So that goes instantly into a review system for Amazon, and typically it goes live in 5 hours on my storefront. Then within a couple of days, it's often seen on the actual product page, but not always. If I go to James Clear's Atomic Habits, I see all these videos reviewing his book. I don't see mine there, but I've sold about 60 copies of his book and getting credited, and I get the commission. So I know they must be showing it somewhere. I have no idea where. Amazon gets, they're in a lot of different places doing a lot of different things. And every day they're starting some brand new thing that's got, 1 billion users and you never heard of it before. So it's an interesting company, obviously, not without justifiable criticism from certain places, but it is an interesting company doing a lot of interesting things, shall we say. All right, the next book, the Epictetus book. I am uploading it. It's processing it. It's uploading it. By the way, Roger, you may have actually absolutely no interest in it whatsoever, but have you thought about being an Amazon influencer or an influencer for any program?
I watched you explain it once or twice now, and I thought, yeah, this is a nice idea. If it does nothing more than get you in front of other people and allow you to practice being on video, boy, it's two terrific ideas.
That really is sort of my thinking with this. Epictetus Discourses and Selected Writings. Penguin Classics. I didn't have that up there. Let's see. Penguin Classics, Epictetus, Discourses, and Selected Writings. So this is unusual. Typically, especially books, I buy pretty much all my books on Amazon. Even if I don't, they're available. So I don't know why this is not showing up. Epictetus. Now it shows up. For whatever reason, I was doing something wrong. Wow. 5-star review average, which is pretty hard to have 5 stars with almost 3,000 reviews. The best Stoic philosopher ever, Epictetus. And it did not get I'm still in dictation mode. Okay, apologies for that long pause. I'm so much faster dictating because I absolutely hate typing in general. The only thing I hate worse than typing is typing on a phone. The only thing worse than that is typing with one finger. And the only thing worse than that is typing with one finger while trying to do a live show. So I really don't like typing. But every so often I have to if the AI picking up the microphone can't figure out what word it is. So, but that one's done. Okay. Now to the next book. I hit create content, post, photo library. I hit the book. I hit done. It's uploading. It's processing. I realize this is not the single most exciting, riveting TV ever, but I'm hoping to demystify this process for you and others so you can try it. Because as Roger just mentioned, Worst case scenario, it gets you speaking in front of more people. It gets you more comfortable speaking on camera. You may or may not make some money. And I will let you know, we're not supposed to give exact financial numbers, but I will let you know, I'm not making some great fortune on this. My camera has gone out of focus again. It's supposed to latch onto a face. Sometimes that still a little bit blurry. Apologies, but we're now in overtime. So let me try to go ahead and finish this. Okay, we're on the Brene Brown. Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. Wow, 30,000 reviews. She's had a huge impact with this book and made a lot of money. Oh, I'm not jealous. No, she's done very, very well by helping people. Brene Brown is a superstar. Comma, find out why, exclamation point. Ooh, So in the process of dictating it, it put the accent, as she does, on her name. And that sent a trigger message from Amazon saying, you're not allowed to use any kind of symbol like that. So I've got to back up and essentially write her name incorrectly. Otherwise, it will not be saved by Amazon. There's just some little quirk in their system where they don't want anything that isn't just a regular letter in the system. Okay, now we're going to do the next book, the Life Force book. Now, you may have noticed I was perhaps equivocating on some of these things because Amazon does not want you giving any health advice. Well, this is a book about health. So you could have argued that I would have been better off just not doing that book. It is an interesting, it's a book I have mixed feelings about. Now, for the most part, I like Anthony Robbins and thinks that he's a force for good. But he has endorsed some BS health stuff before. I mean, 25 years ago, he's like, oh, you have to do nothing but eat raw fruit first thing in the morning. And then 10 years later, oh, forget everything I said. You have to have just protein first thing in the morning. So I think he means well, but he is so, I don't mean this to sound condescending. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't have a medical degree. I don't have an advanced degree. He has a high school degree and he's good at learning new things and pulling in experts. He has 2 medical doctors as his co-authors, but he does sometimes endorse things where he has a financial ties to that I don't necessarily think are the best for people.
TJ, on this particular one, you held the book more vertical, so you didn't see the thickness of the book. And in my mind, that's a plus, because it doesn't scare the heck out of you. Either the Tim Ferriss book or Anthony Robbins book was so thick.
They are big.
They are, yeah.
Excuse me, my face has gone out of focus again. We have to somehow figure that out. Okay. The future of healthcare is now! Exclamation point. That's really not a very good title, but again, I'm operating under the assumption of I'm trying to get my first 1,000 reviews up. Then I can sort of step back and say, what can I do better? Is this something I do, in fact, want to pursue? Or can I say, oh, this was an interesting experiment. I've taken it as far as I can go. I've gotten the value. I can tell you, to me, so far, the biggest benefit has been able to do the Amazon Live because I think that is making my show more attractive to top name guests. Roger, I don't know if you were there when we were discussing it, but Julian Treasure, who is a world-renowned expert on voice and communicating and has the 9th most popular TED Talk of all time, has agreed to come on the show in a couple of weeks. I think in part because he could see in our pitch, hey, we're going to have you on Amazon Live and sell your books on Amazon Live, and people will be able to one-click buy your book on Amazon Live. So if for no other reason, I'm happy to have experimented with this whole Amazon influencer thing. Predictably Irrational by Dan Ariely. One of the things I do try to keep in mind is, I mentioned it earlier in another context today. Let me just finish this, sorry. Learn how your human mind works, exclamation point. That was horrible, but I am in a hurry, and that was the last one. I mean, one of the things I do try to constantly remind myself of, and I'm not always perfect in this, is, you know, what Warren Buffett says, Steve Jobs, they say the same thing, is successful people say yes to everything, and they minimize their risk, and they've got all these different streams of income. Really successful people, super successful people, say no to almost everything, so they have greater focus. So in my mind, I'm focused on one thing, helping people communicate more effectively. So as a part of that mission, I have taken it upon myself to sort of do this experiment with Amazon Live. But I also want to be aware of the fact that, am I spreading myself too thin? Because any one of these isn't that much, but you know, you add it all up, a half hour a day over 6 months is a lot. Maybe spending, you know, that time focusing on selling my private trainings and a keynote and a workshop might generate 1,000 times more revenue for me and take less time. So you've always got to balance that out. Roger, I really thank you for stopping by today. I took more of your time than maybe you had allocated, but I very much appreciate it. I want to thank everyone for joining us, from Madhav to An and Jonathan, Marius, Barb, of course, with us, and so many others, and all of our friends on TikTok. I will see you tomorrow. We're going to have the full 3 hours tomorrow, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern time. And between now and then, I'm going to be putting out more videos on demand. So please take a look at our short form videos, our long form videos. Please watch them, leave questions, comments, reviews, share them, and subscribe. Thanks a lot. See you later.